Hello there, I'm a day late reviewing 1976's Logan's Run. Recently I reviewed another science fiction movie from the 1970s, THX 1138. It was what you would call a dystopian movie. The society in the film was drugged to keep their emotions flat. Close personal relations were illegal, and they lived in a surveillance state with cameras watching over most places in public. This time around, I'm going to look at a utopian movie, or more aptly, a mostly utopian movie, because as is often the way, there is a catch. As the movie opens, we get a text wall explaining the movie setting and the prime moving force of the plot. Humans have built a dome city to safeguard themselves from the ravaged world outside, but being confined to the area of the city, it can only hold so many people. The designer's answer to that? Mandatory death on your 30th birthday.
Bogus!
Meet Logan 5, our protagonist. He is what is known as a Sandman. A title that doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the context of the movie, but it does make sense if you know the movie is based on the 1967 novel of the same name by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. In the novel, Logan is an agent for the Sleep Shop. These agents are called Sandmen. The Sleep Shop is a place where people go on their last birthday to die by being exposed to a pleasure-inducing toxic gas. People that fail to show up to be put to sleep, they are tracked down by the Sandman and killed. In the movie, Logan's job remains the same, but there is no Sleep Shop. Instead, there is Carousel and the hope of renewal. Carousel is a sort of anti-gravity chamber in which the subjects rise into the air trying to reach a giant palm crystal in the ceiling. Somewhere mid-flight, they usually explode in a fiery display. It is believed that if you try hard enough on Carousel, that you will be renewed, which sounds like reincarnation to me. So today, Logan is at the nursery to see Logan 6. Word has reached Logan 5 that his son has been approved to be a Sandman. Logan's friend Francis 7 shows up to see what Logan is doing here. The dialogue between them makes it clear that children are not raised by their parents, or that the parents know who the other parent is. This is a free love society with no long-term commitments. Logan and Francis then return to the section of the city known as the Arcade. A deep gonging sound can be heard. It is the call for Carousel. As they approach the auditorium, the computer voice announces,
Last day, Capricorn 15s, year of the city, 2274.
Tons of people enter to watch. As the auditorium seats begin to fill, the lights dim and the computer calls for those born on this day 30 years ago to enter the carousel. A group of people enter onto the floor of the auditorium, and the computer tells them to be strong, and they will be renewed. An anti-gravity field descends from the ceiling to the floor, and the carousel begins to rotate. Soon, members of the group start to rise into the air. The crowd goes wild, screaming, "Renew! Renew!" One by one, the members of the group explode in a fiery display. Logan hears his communication device alarm. He sees that there is a runner nearby and leaves to take care of it. Francis notices that Logan has left and follows to see what's going on. Logan tells them they have a runner. The two Sandmen split up to better corner the runner. When he appears, they toy with him for a bit, telling him to run, their shots hitting nearby. You can see the glee and enjoyment they take in taunting the runner. As this goes on for a while, it appears that Logan has the shooting skills of your basic Imperial stormtrooper, and it is Francis who finally kills the runner. Logan comes over to the body to confirm the ID. The body doesn't look like the picture on Logan's communicator screen. The computer tells him that the victim recently had plastic surgery done. Logan then empties the guy's pockets and gathers up the items. A disposal team is then called for. After a hard day of work, Logan goes home and checks out who's on the circuit for a good time. The circuit appears to be similar to Star Trek's transporters, only instead of beaming directly from one location to another, it acts more like a radio, in that you appear at another location once the receiving person tunes in. This is how Logan comes to meet Jessica 6. Only one problem. Jessica is depressed because one of her friends died on Carousel tonight, and she thought a tryst might help take her mind off of it. Seeing a Sandman has brought her thoughts of death to the forefront, and she isn't in the mood for sex anymore.
Bogus!
Jessica and Logan end up talking about Carousel and renewal. During their talk, Logan says something I found interesting, that if you want to live to 31, there is Carousel. This would imply that it might be possible to reach the top of the carousel and survive, although we never see anyone succeed. Then Francis shows up with two more girls, and while Logan is distracted by the new arrivals, Jessica leaves. The next day, Francis and Logan return to the Sandman Control Center to drop off the items retrieved from dead runners. Francis goes first, and everything goes per protocol, and he says that he will meet Logan at the spa. Logan goes in, and he places the runner's items in an identification portal, and the computer examines them for longer than usual. Logan is then asked by the computer to have a seat and identify himself. He does this, and then the computer shows an image of one of the items that Logan retrieved. It is an Ankh. Logan has never heard of or seen one before. The computer asks if Logan has ever heard of the term sanctuary. Logan says no. The computer tells Logan that sanctuary is a pre-war word, meaning a place of safety that the Ankh is linked to. The computer then tells Logan that there are 1,056 unaccounted for runners. Logan is confused. How can there be unaccounted for runners? He suggests that maybe they renewed. Nope. Logan is shocked. Does the computer mean that no one has ever been renewed? The computer tells him that the question has already been answered.
What?
The computer then tells Logan that it wants him to exit the seals of the city to find Sanctuary and destroy it. Logan says he doesn't know how to do this. The computer tells him that he will pose as a runner seeking Sanctuary. Logan says that he's only a red 6. How will he fool anyone into believing that he is a runner? The computer has him place his palm on the chair armrest and then changes his life clock to a flashing red. Logan is shocked. He has 4 years left until that was supposed to happen. Will he get those years back? The computer tells him to take the Ankh and find Sanctuary. Also, he is not to get help from the other Sandmen. This creates some problems for me. It makes me believe that the computer is not a true artificial intelligence because it doesn't recognize the distress it has caused one of its Sandmen by revealing that renewal on Carousel is a lie. That it expects Logan to carry on with his duties without telling him if he still has his 4 years of life left. And that is all he has left, as there is no renewal. I would certainly be tempted to run if there was no chance of renewal. The computer should have told Logan something along the lines of, Carousel is the only way for renewal, and these deviants pose a threat to the harmony and balance of the city. I think the computer knows the runners are outside of the domes because I believe that the life clocks in the palm of everybody's hand also serves as a GPS location device, hence how the Sandmen are able to track down runners. Tracking only works in the domes, you can't locate the missing runners, therefore they must be outside. Quite frankly, you would think the computer's programming would have its primary concern be about the balance of the population and the foodstuffs in the domes. Caring about missing runners and realizing that they must be outside of the domes would hint that the AI is fairly sophisticated. If it is sophisticated, why does it care about the missing runners? They are outside the domes and not a drain on its resources. Now, if there were missing resources, maybe the missing runners were able to sneak back inside at times and steal things, then I could understand having an interest in what happened to them. But that's not the case, as we will later find out. And then there's the secrecy aspect of the assignment. Why only send Logan? Why not send several teams of Sandmen to explore outside the dome? Surely the computer knows the layout of the city, and so it should know where exits are. Or why not have Logan infiltrate the organization that is sending people out to Sanctuary, and then have a team of Sandmen capture them and then interrogate them? Instead, it sends a lone Sandman to find the Sanctuary of 1,056 escape runners, and he has to destroy it on his own. Nice plan there. Anyways, back to the story. Next up, the gym. Logan, still reeling from the news that renewal is a lie, and thinking that perhaps the computer was wrong, asks Francis if he has ever seen anyone renew. Francis thinks Logan is acting strange and wants to know what's with all the questions. Logan presses him, has he seen anyone renew? Francis says yes, and Logan asks if it was anyone they knew. Francis tells him to get in the water, that he needs it more than Francis does, and he sinks under the water. Logan sees that he's not going to get anywhere with Francis and leaves. Lacking any better options, Logan returns to his apartment to continue with his assignment. He has Jessica brought there. He tells her that he's going to run. He believes that she knows people that will help to get him to Sanctuary. She abruptly leaves, not sure that Logan is being honest with her. Jessica meets with her friends and they plan to kill Logan. He knows about Sanctuary and can't be allowed to live. She agrees to it, but half believes Logan. Later that night, she meets Logan and she takes him to Arcade to be killed. She gets near the ambush point when Logan's communicator goes off. There's a runner in Cathedral. Cathedral is a lockdown area that is infested with violent children. Jessica tags along. Back in Sandman Command, one of the Sandmen at the watch tells Francis that Logan has a bad assignment, that there is a runner in Cathedral. Francis says that he's going to go to be backup. Once Logan and Jessica get to Cathedral, they are set upon by a group of children. Logan shoots his gun and the gang scatters. He then resumes looking for the runner. They find her and Logan tells her that he isn't going to kill her. He shows her his flashing life clock to reassure her. Francis shows up at the background unnoticed by the others. Logan asks if the runner has heard of Sanctuary, and she says no. He gives her a pellet of blind gas to use should she encounter other Sandmen, and he and Jessica leave. Francis then steps forward and kills the runner. In the distance, Logan and Jessica hear the scream of the runner. They don't investigate what they just heard because... too late now? Truthfully, I have no idea why they didn't go see what happened. They don't want to run into more wild cubs or Sandmen, maybe? I don't know. They obviously heard the runner scream and then didn't address it. Not even to say to one another, "You think we should see what happened?" That's city life for you, I guess.
I said I have murdered a man and I want to confess. Hey, shut up down there!
Somebody else will deal with it. But who? Who knows? It's not like Logan is the closest thing to a policeman in the city has. Oh well. Jessica admits to Logan that early in Arcade she was taking him to be killed, that she didn't believe him. But now that he let the runner go, she does believe him. He begs her to tell him where Sanctuary is, or to take him to her friends. She says she can't, that her friends don't believe that a Sandman is capable of running, that they will kill him. Logan summons a car to return to Arcade. He tells Jessica that he's going to get a new face at the place that had done the runner from the beginning of the film. Once again, Jessica tags along. At the plastic surgery center, Logan says that he wants a new face, and the doctor says no problem. It's all done with lasers and some Insta-Heal spray that seals the skin without leaving a scar. Logan gets on the table when the doctor receives a call. It's from the people who know about Sanctuary. They tell the doctor to kill Logan. Things get hairy for Logan for a bit as the two struggle, but he overpowers the doctor and throws him onto the table where he is sliced up by the lasers. Logan and Jessica start to make a break for it when Francis shows up. He confronts Logan about letting the runner go in Cathedral. Logan clocks Francis upside the head and he and Jessica run for it. Jessica decides that she would rather risk her friends than an angry Sandman and leads Logan to the secret entrance to where her friends are holed up. Hidden behind a sex shop, they find an industrial area and members of the group that is helping runners to get to Sanctuary. Logan surreptitiously activates his emergency call button, summoning Sandmen in force before the group starts to interrogate him. They are distrustful of Logan, but then the nurse from the plastic surgery place shows up and says that Logan fought another Sandman, that he is running. The organization decides to help Logan and tell him to travel down the tunnel to the locked door and follow the instructions of the message there. Logan tells Jessica to go back to the city. He is going ahead. Jessica insists on going with him. She has grown fond of him and wants to go to Sanctuary. Just then there are screams of voices and the wall explodes. The Sandmen have arrived in force. In the ensuing chaos, Logan and Jessica make a break for it, but they are found by Francis. Francis pleads to Logan to return to sanity. Francis hasn't told anyone about the runner Logan let go. All Logan needs to do is kill Jessica. She's a runner, even though she is a green. Logan shoots the gate Francis is behind and sparks spray everywhere. Francis is momentarily blinded, and Logan and Jessica make a break for it. They make it to the end of the tunnel and a display lights up saying to place their Ankh against the screen. They fumble with Jessica's Ankh and drop it into a pool of water and have trouble finding it. Logan says that he still has the key that he took from the runner at the beginning of the film. He places the Ankh against the screen and it disappears and opens the door before them. Francis screams Logan's name as he comes running towards them. Logan and Jessica step through the doorway and it closes just as Francis arrives.
Missed it by that much.
Logan and Jessica make their way up some stairs and it appears to be part of an aquarium and part generator. Logan said that he heard that the city was at least partially powered by the sea. They make their way to a room that has a lift and it takes them up. They arrive in a frozen room that leads into what looks to be a frozen cave. It is here that they meet Box. Box is a robot that is programmed to preserve fish, plankton, and sea greens. One day the foodstuff stopped coming, but after some time, people started arriving, so he preserved them instead. So much for Sanctuary.
Bogus.
Box then tries to freeze Logan and Jessica, but Logan gets to his gun first and shoots Box a couple of times. Box charges Logan, and the two struggle for a bit. Logan fires off a couple of shots that destroy some of the ceiling racks of birds. And what is probably the worst display of visual effects in the movie, the ceiling collapses and several explosions are superimposed over Logan and Jessica as they cower in a corner. They make their way past the debris down a tunnel and arrive to the great outdoors. It is here that they see the sun for the first time ever. Amazed at its warmth, they continue down the hillside to see what else is out there. Meanwhile, Francis has made his way to the frozen sanctuary of Box. It's a huge mess, and he sees Box lying smashed under some icy debris. He then makes his way down the exit tunnel as well. Logan and Jessica are walking down a dry creek bed and sit down to take a breather for a bit. Jessica complains about how everything hurts out here. Logan assures her that everything will be better once they find some water. They continue walking till it starts to get dark. Jessica is exhausted, and they find some place to rest among the trees. Jessica wonders if they are the first people to get past Box, if there is sanctuary nearby. Logan reassures her that she must be right, that sanctuary is nearby, and they will find it. The next day they find a small river, deep enough to swim in. Thrilled, they jump in for a swim. It's here that Jessica discovers that their life clocks have gone clear. They are free from its power. Jessica decides it's sexy time. Later, while still searching for sanctuary, they see the overgrown remains of Washington, D.C. It must be sanctuary. Or at the very least, people should be there. They head towards the city. They make their way to the Lincoln Monument and they see the sculpture of Lincoln. Logan has never seen a face like that before. He guesses that it is what it looks like to be old. Then they continue to explore the remains of the city. They make their way to the Capitol building, and inside they discover an old man and his cats. He hasn't seen another human being since his parents died, and he's a little off his nut, frequently quoting T.S. Eliot poems about cats.
Midnight, and the kitties are sleeping.
Logan and Jessica separate to explore the building. Francis shows up and grabs Jessica. He tells her that she killed Logan, that he used to be a Sandman. Logan then notices that Jessica is missing and looks for her when he hears Francis calling his name. Francis is on the balcony with Jessica. Francis wants to know why Logan turned his back on being a Sandman, and being his friend. He is about to shoot Logan when Logan tells him to look at his life clock. Francis does, and is stunned to see that it is clear. He's so stunned that he drops his gun. Jessica grabs the gun and throws it away. Francis says that it's a lie, and he jumps down to attack Logan. The two fight for a bit. Until Logan gets the upper hand and beats Francis with the flagpole. It's a mortal wound, and Logan goes over to Francis and takes him in his arms. Francis sees that Logan's life clock is clear and says happily that Logan has renewed.
Excellent!
He then dies.
Bogus.
The old man teaches Logan and Jessica about burial, and they bury Francis. Later that night, Logan decides he wants to go back to the city to tell everyone the truth, that people don't have to die at 30. They take the old man with them to show the city dwellers that they speak the truth. They make their way back to the domes, but the only way in is through a waterway that is too much for the old man. Logan and Jessica say for the old man to stay here for as long as he can manage, as they will try to bring people out to see him. Then they dive into the water and make their way into an opening into the hydropower plant inside the city. They then make their way to Arcade as the call for carousel is sounding. Logan shouts to the crowd not to go in. They can live past 30. Carousel is a lie. Jessica joins in saying that they've been outside. There's a whole new world outside. They are then grabbed by several Sandmen and taken to the master computer. Logan is placed in an interrogation chair, and the computer asks him about Sanctuary. Several terminals become active as his mind is scanned. Holograms of Logan appear saying that there is no Sanctuary, that they found a ruined city and an old man. The computer doesn't accept these findings. As more holograms appear from his mind probe, they all say the same thing. There is no sanctuary. The computer starts to short circuit, and Logan breaks free from the interrogation chair. He struggles with the Sandmen and manages to get one of their guns. He then kills several, and he and Jessica flee as explosions erupt across the city. Back at the hydropower plant entry, the old man sees the explosions. Soon, people appear and walk down the steps towards him. Who is this? He looks so different. A girl steps near him and feels his face, to see if he is real. He is. Logan and Jessica arrive near the top of the steps. They wave to the old man as the crowd closes in to get a better look at old age. The music swells, and smiling, Jessica and Logan hug each other as explosions erupt in the city behind them. The end. Well, that was Logan's Run, everybody. As a child, when I saw this, and I heard that music swelling at the end, and Logan and Jessica smiling, I thought, happy ending. But now as an adult, and I see it and I think, holy smokes, what the hell was that? What a depressing ending. None of these people have any wilderness survival skills. The Dome City is in ruins, and all these people have had their every need spoon-fed to them by servo mechanisms for their entire lives. How are they going to survive? Is there anyone that knows anything about being a farmer, or a butcher, or someone who knows how to work in construction? Or what wild plants are even edible? Talk about your Pyrrhic victories. Ugh. Well, I've already talked about the master computer's obsession with Sanctuary. Don't know why it was so sure that Sanctuary was real when our agent went outside and returned with news that Sanctuary did not exist. Plus, it was told by Logan during his mind scan that the missing runners were all dead, frozen by box. Why the freakout and subsequent explosions? And this is a small thing, but I have an issue with the life clocks. I always thought they represented 10-year spans. You had yellow for 0 to 9, green from 10 to 19, and red from 20 to 29. On your 30th birthday, it goes flashing red and black. Why did I think that? Logan says he's a red 6 and he has 4 years left.
But am I still red 6? But I had 4 more years.
But when Logan is in Cathedral facing off against Billy, he asks Billy how old he is. 14? 15? Once you're green, you are kicked out of Cathedral and you turn green at 16.
How old are you? 14? 15? Your time is running out here. How long have you got left here? A year? 6 months? What happens when you're 16 and you go to green?
So I looked it up on the Logan's Run wiki, and it says this. Red at 24. Red 6 would be 30. How can Logan have 4 years left if he is Red 6? No doubt due to script changes. Having said that, I must admit, I have a soft spot for this movie. Maybe it's the nostalgia speaking, but I enjoy it. It is dated, but that's part of its charm. As I said earlier, the movie is based on the novel of the same name by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. Be forewarned, if you've read the book, the movie bears little resemblance to the novel. The movie was directed by Michael Anderson, best known for Logan's Run, Around the World in 80 Days, Doc Savage, Man of Bronze, and the Martian Chronicles TV series from 1980. He does a serviceable job. The screenplay was written by David Zelig Goodman, best known for Logan's Run, The Eyes of Laura Mars, Straw Dogs, and several episodes of the 1960 television series The Untouchables. It stars Michael York as Logan, Jenny Agutter as Jessica, and Richard Jordan as Francis. All do an excellent job. I would also like to say that Jerry Goldsmith's score is absolutely stellar. It has a number of touches that sound futuristic to me. I liked it so much, I got the CD. It was rated PG for brief nudity and violence. The movie cost $9 million to make and made $25 million at the box office, which meant it was a success. So much so that it inspired a TV show of the same name the following year. The TV show wasn't nearly a success, only managing 14 episodes before cancellation. One of the neat things I remember about it was going to an early 1980s science fiction convention and seeing a number of people dressed as Sandmen chasing after runners. Early cosplay for you folks. The movie has a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, 53 out of 100 on Metacritic, and Rotten Tomatoes has it at 62 and 67% respectively. These are probably fair reviews, but I have a soft spot for it and would give it about a 7 out of 10 myself. Once again, probably nostalgia speaking. So if you like campy 70s sci-fi, then this movie might be what you're looking for. But seeing it through modern eyes, I don't know if I could recommend this one. It does have some issues, especially that ending. Anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time.